Hello, welcome to D-Trout Spinners podcast with me, Mars Pennell.
Yeah, and me, Gary Forrester, here as well.
Yeah, on the day that England lost the Rugby World Cup.
They did, yeah.
Were you watching it?
Do you know, I actually have an affinity with you during the Rugby World Cup, because during the Football World Cup, when we were together, and I was really into that, you had no interest whatsoever. We even watched the game together, but England have been in the Rugby World Cup, and I'm not bothered about that at all. So I understand how you feel during the Football World Cup.
What would it have meant to have won?
It would have meant so much, mate. Do you know what I mean? Better than my dissertation for my final degree.
How's that going?
It's going really well. Do you want me to read any out? Or?
No, I was going to say...
God, it's lovely out, by the way.
You joined us on... What was the day? 2nd of November?
Yeah.
Gary's
No, it's 1 week after we recorded the first podcast.
It definitely is.
In a way. It's only been a week. Cause
I think podcasts are timeless as well.
Yeah.
Like, they're all the good ones.
No,
but this one isn't.
I think this is timed.
What,
you just having a drink there?
I wasn't there. Thanks for bringing that up. It's raining outside though. It's raining quite a lot. I made the journey to Brighton to see Gary.
We are currently in my flat.
In his very clean flat. I've noticed something about you. You're very fussy, aren't you? You're very fussy.
We've known each other for 7 years. We know all of our,
everything's
foibles.
got a place.
No, because Mars wiped his hands. Mars wiped his hands on a tea towel when he'd had a dirty sandwich.
It wasn't a dirty sandwich. It was a clean sandwich.
It was dirty. It
had some coleslaw on it.
What was in it?
It was coleslaw.
Yeah, coleslaw.
Right?
He wiped coleslaw on my tea towel.
Don't get.
That's not
coleslaw,
finicky.
Pesto, grilled chicken, little bit of pesto, little bit of parmesan, and some rocket in a French baguette.
Yeah, is that your top 5 albums of all time?
I'm really good at making sandwiches.
I don't eat sandwiches anymore.
That's an interesting anecdote. Thanks for telling me
about that. I would, but I'd put in tuna, courgette, because I love courgette, and celery.
Interesting facts here at D-Trout Spinners.
What is this podcast about, by the way?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're actually not here to discuss sandwiches or the weather or the Rugby World Cup, as much as I'd like to do that for the next 45 minutes.
You know they're going to all turn off now, because that's what they want to hear.
We're here to talk the Ricky Gervais show on XFM, which is what this podcast's about.
And as I said in the first one, it's not... more people will be familiar with the podcast that they did, the actual podcast. Now, the radio show has been re-released as a podcast since. This is specifically about the radio show, which we want to introduce to more people because we like it. In fact, that was one of the things we bonded over when we first met.
We're not good at many things.
We don't know a lot about much, but we do know a lot about this.
And that's what you do in podcasts. You write what you know, you talk what you think, and you jibber-dwap the wibble.
Jibber-dwap the wibble. But my dissertation's all about this.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about episode 1, August 24th, 2002. This is series 2, season 1.
And just to put this into context as to how long ago this show happened less than a year after 9/11. That is how long ago it was, yeah. That's crazy to think, isn't it? And we still
times.
To this day listen to these shows. I mean, this one not specifically, but all of them.
2002. I was 12.
I'd just left sixth form. I was just on my way to university, which went well.
It's good. So we joined Ricky, Steve and Karl, and they've just come back from Edinburgh.
Now, I just wanted to check, we went to Edinburgh, didn't we?
We did, and we were meant to do this one then.
We were going to do this one then. What did we... Something come out.
I went to see a drag show.
That you left halfway through.
It's rubbish.
Because it was rubbish.
But I really
liked... We did see some good shows, didn't we?
Yeah, that was a really
John
good
Robbins, very good.
Bryony Kimmings.
I'm still recovering from that.
I think she is too.
And who was the other one we saw? That woman. There's an American woman. She was
very good.
Yeah, she was.
But
she tried hard.
She did. God bless her soul.
Yeah.
She's doing something we would like to do as well. So deeply jealous of that. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. So you joined.
No, but I just mentioned it.
This is
relevant.
This is their sort of return to radio after the early episode, series 1. We might get to that at some point, but I thought it would be nice to start here because
they'd had a 6-month break, I believe.
Yeah, and they're recording The Office, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want to kick us off?
Well, sorry. What do you mean kick us off?
I don't know how to start.
I love
these
the
things.
show. I think it's a really good show, and it's interesting because at the beginning half of the show, it's very much like a series 1 show where it's mainly Ricky and Steve. Karl doesn't speak for the first 40 minutes or so.
But this is the first one where he's sort of like, you're already getting, like, at the start he was kind of, they were still discovering him, but in this one they're really like
they very much
him
discovered
now.
him.
Yeah.
But now there was parts on series 1 like Horse in the House where they talk to Karl and they come up with his genius stuff that was in that series. But in general, they just talked to themselves. And the first half of this show is just Ricky and Steve talking. Actually, it's really funny. It's the stuff about Steve, especially about Steve coming back and on the plane. That's a brilliant anecdote. And 165 quid drink.
Just get that right.
But then the second half of the show actually, I think, sets up the rest of the whole series. And in fact, the rest of the whole time they know Karl because they get into the ghost stories with Nick. And
this is like
Simon.
Karl's like forte, isn't it? He's into like freaks, ghost stories, and tales of the unexpected, those sort of things.
And it's at the point where it did become, you know, you have to admit, it did become, and it does, and I still like it, but it did become a point where Karl, like some monkey newses, Karl knows they're not true. Like Karl absolutely. There's some monkey news Karl knows they're not true, but there's some stories Karl tells that he knows aren't true. But these ones, genuinely, I think Karl. This is where Karl is more real because Karl genuinely. I believe Karl believes this thing.
Oh
like
he definitely does.
The
manhole
cover, yeah. It's just. It's like and the stuff about telekinesis. A lot of people believe that. Do you believe in ghosts? At all?
I don't think I can. I would like to because I think it's a cool idea. I really like all the mythology and like the way they're depicted in films, and I like the whole return of the repressed is what the ghost symbolises. I wrote my dissertation on this, Gary.
Did you actually? Or
well, I wrote it on the doppelganger, but ghosts...
I read your dissertation. Do you remember once I read your dissertation? I don't remember it being about ghosts.
It wasn't that memorable either.
I don't remember it at all, but I don't...
Well, it was
I don't remember it.
I would say it was a first. It was a first attempt at writing anything, and a first... Yeah, thanks very much. And a first award winning. Is that what they say?
First award winning.
Is that what they say?
So was... mine now. So yeah, no, but I personally don't believe in ghosts at all. But not because Ricky, and it's not like I like the Ricky Gervais show because Ricky doesn't believe in ghosts. I just genuinely don't. I can't bring myself to get or telekinesis. What about telekinesis? Because Karl makes an interesting point that Nick and Simon were saying to him that telekinesis wasn't about like it that genuinely was a thing where a lot of people I think telekinesis is a real thing whereas ghosts aren't. But do you believe in telekinesis? I don't.
Because I think you have to like think all these things are like it's like that pseudoscience, isn't it? It's an alternative to religion. If you don't believe in religion, then you would believe in this stuff. Presumably, if you wanted to believe in anything,
not at all. What do you mean?
Do you not think?
No, because I don't believe in religion or this stuff, and I think that's a common position.
What do you believe in?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I believe that you just die and you decompose, and it's not nice, but it's a Darwinian, it's just not.
I think I've been thinking about a lot about what happens after death. Because it's weird, isn't it, to think like there was nothing, and then there was you. But you can't even possibly, because this is all you've ever known. You've got no like knowledge over like what happened before and what's going to happen after.
Yeah, because a lot of people say. It's very difficult to imagine a world after you die.
Because then you're not going to be.
The only way you can do it, an interesting way someone pointed out to me over some TV or whatever I was just watching. Yeah, exactly. There's drinks involved.
A little bit of smack.
Lot of smack. And but was that what you can do is imagine the world before you were born. So for me, it would be a world in 1983, which I know existed.
For you, it would be before you started this to Oasis.
No, I do like Oasis. That's when I became alive for the first time. That's when I remember I was alive.
Now you're going to live forever. And you could say, all right, that's the sort of pun you're going to get for this sort of show.
Don't. They'll all unsubscribe. They're pressing unsubscribe.
If they've subscribed
no
to the
one
first
has subscribed. I'm talking about my dad.
Does he know how to use the podcast
No,
library?
he's quite okay for he's 60 next year.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's he going to do?
I bought him I shouldn't say this.
No,
I forget that. Can
That's
you cut
okay.
that out? Actually?
Yeah. No, he'll love Priscilla,
that.
Queen of the Desert. It's
Yeah,
alright,
no,
he'll love that.
Anyway, yeah. I'll tell you afterwards.
I was going to say, I'm turning 30 next year.
You're half the age, literally, of my dad. Because my dad's birthday's in January. You're literally half
I'll
the age
probably
of my dad.
die after him as well.
Yeah. What's your
saying,
point?
What a
strange thing to say. If you said before, I do a lot of... I drink a lot of cider, so my liver's going to die before him.
No, so I've been planning what I'm going to do for my 30th.
Well, we've been planning. We haven't planned, but we're going to.
We've been planning your ideal 30th.
No,
for me.
exactly.
No, and I keep telling my friends, because we want to go to a spa for 3-4 day?
Yeah, 3.
A 3-dayer. And then...
I just want a hot stone massage. That's what I really
Do you?
want. Yeah.
How are those things actually hot? Where are they warming them?
They're really hot.
And they're what,
they heat them up with steam,
spa?
yeah.
Steam.
Yeah.
But all my friends are going, you're taking your girlfriend. I was like...
No. You don't take your girlfriend. Well, you're taking me, so in a way, yes.
But I'm like, if I'm taking my girlfriend... If I don't take her to that, I've got to take her to the other thing I want to do on my 30th, which is go to the Aspel factory. Now, I know which one she'd rather do.
Yeah, I know which one I'd rather do as well, which is to be
honest. You don't like cider either.
Yeah, no, I don't.
If you go to the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, a vineyard...
Darling, I'm going to the cider factory and a spa. I'm taking Gary to the spa. So do you want to come or to what? No. To the cider factory or?
Well, does Gary want me to come? Almost definitely not.
Almost certainly not.
But no,
I don't mind. You can. I mean, I'd come to the cider factory.
We'll plan something.
But I don't really want to. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't enjoy the spa.
But I'll come to a spa with you if you want.
Yeah, I think we should do it. This is about the Ricky Gervais XFM show.
Sorry. Yeah. No, but it's also about... It's been a while since the audience have heard us, so we need to introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
So now let's get on to the show. We're talking about the show. So, okay, so so as I say, Karl comes into it about halfway through, and I really think that sets the tone for the rest of the whole second season, third season, and the whole podcast thing they did, Idiot Abroad, all of that. What are your sort of favourite moments from the show?
My favourite moments are the start when they're discussing the £165
Rick.
Because I was thinking, what would I do in that situation? Because what it is Ricky and Steve, they're going to Edinburgh. They have to drop Ricky off, and Steve has to, and he's getting the train. It's going to take him 4.5 hours. It took us much longer than that because it was delayed. And
our train took 8.5 hours. God.
Our one was really funny though, because when we were sitting,
yeah.
I keep thinking I'm talking to someone. I am. I'm talking to you, but hopefully
I'm talking to me and my dad.
Paul, this one's for you. You love this, Paul. No, well, Gary and I, we took two of the last remaining seats. This is on the way back to London after our trip, which was a nightmare. The whole trip was good, but we got an absolute shite flat.
And also, it was pissing down the whole time. The flat, actually, the flat was a nightmare, but I had to write several emails and make several phone calls for this, but I got a full refund.
If only you got a maintenance grant for that. The work you put into that, to get that fucking money back.
I was on the phone to them saying, do you know how much my maintenance grant is? It's not enough to keep me in Frappuccinos these days. So but anyway...
on the way back, then we took our seats, really busy track, and we took the what are they called? Reserved for special
needs.
What
do you mean?
They're special access seats, aren't they?
No, they weren't.
No, they don't.
Oh, sorry, they were. They were.
Yeah,
sorry, yeah, they were.
Oh, see, anecdote makes no sense. And then slowly, as we go through the stops and we stop off at places, different stations, it gets gradually more and more busy.
It wasn't that. So It was fine. So we took the. Hang on, we sat there in those seats. It was absolutely fine. There was seats on the train. There was free seats. There was seats everywhere. We then got a message over the tannoy that said the train that had come before us has broken down at a station, so we're going to have to stop at an additional station and collect an entire train's worth of people.
So we had to
double. So suddenly it wasn't gradually build up. It was from a normal temperate amount to double the amount, and there was so it was.
And it was
packed
already
with
way
people.
too populated.
And bear in mind, this isn't a train from London to Birmingham. This is a train from Edinburgh to London. So it's a long.
It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
So we're already overcrowded on this train. Unfortunately, they're all kind of young and can stand on 2 feet, and it's going to be a long journey. So
there's no one we should have given that seat up for until. Go on.
Until there was some old people got on.
Oh.
And they
some infirm, like
the infirm. Is that what some people say these days?
Well, I did. Is that wrong?
Infirmed.
Is it? No, infirm.
So mentally
not
handicapped.
infirmed.
You couldn't say that.
Well, I didn't say it.
No, what?
I wouldn't say that.
I don't know.
If any of my friends are listening.
They're not.
They're not.
No, I was going to say...
So go on, you were talking about the train in Edinburgh.
The train, and then older people got on, and the infirmed, or the disabled.
Infirm. There's no D at the end of ED on there.
Yeah, all that. And as they got on, Gary and I sort of looking at each other as which one of us is going to offer up our seat. Because we've got these special seats, which... in theory, and on any other train, I would have given up. But the fact of the matter is, it was going to be delayed for a further 2 hours, which ain't nobody said.
And then we had another 3 hours after that.
God.
So I will just say, our eyes, the look of our eyes, and I promise you this is true, said neither of us. We just had to look at each other and we were like, we are not giving up our seats for this.
I pretended to be asleep for a bit.
Yeah, we did. And I just looked at, because I was at the outside seat, I was kind of looking at Miles. As everyone walked past, I was like, as if we were in conversation. And Miles was asleep. I was like, as in conversation with the sleeping man. But, that was better than looking that way.
Well, they definitely know I wasn't asleep then.
God.
But I was just like, I can't give up the seat because
how much was the ticket? It's like 120 quid for me. You got cheaper because you're 26 to 30.
I'm under 26 to 30. It's amazing, isn't it? Why is all the good stuff cut off at 30 as well?
I don't know.
It's like fucking those equal opportunities forms.
No, I'm joking. The women do as well.
You know those equal opportunities forms. It's like, are you aged 24 to 30? And then
but they're not saying they don't give you equal opportunities if you're over 30.
Yeah, but it's just that harsh border. That's what I just can't get used to with being 30.
It's like the border between Afghanistan and Iraq. It's a harsh border.
Yeah.
It's a harsh border.
I've got a film actually that we might come back to at the end that I will recommend you because I think you're into politics and wars and Syria and that.
Maybe talk about this after when we walk into the next pub.
Next pub. You consider you consider your flat a pub.
Are we drinking?
I would never drink and drive a desk, Gary. Alright. It was satire there. So anyway, wait. I'll finish this anecdote and then we'll go and have our...
No. Go on, just finish your anecdote.
So I would actually do what Ricky did and take the John Smiths and listen to my Walkmans.
He was in first class as well, that's the thing.
I would love to be in first class.
And I would always... I hate flying because I'm scared of flying. I'm not ashamed to admit that. However, even if I wasn't scared of flying, I would never... If the flight got in half an hour early, you have to faff around... checking in, you have to be there at a certain time, boarding it. Train, you just get on it and it goes. And it takes longer, but you just get on it and it goes.
Also, you're sitting down. Nowadays, you can be streaming whatever you want on a little mobile device or a flat TV thing.
I think I was streaming. Do you remember when I got my laptop out on the train? It wouldn't. The little desk we got. It kept falling off.
I get too excited watching you just in public situations. You just warming up your laptop with your winding it up because it looks like fucking
like a Trevor Bayliss radio.
looks like a George Foreman grill. Your laptop. That's what it looks like. And then but
it wasn't my. I've got 2 laptops. One's they're not neither are expensive. But it was actually my cheap one, so it was even cheaper than my main one.
You're sitting there and you're like Nina watching Simpsons. As I imagine you do that every single day.
Because do you know what the weird thing was? On Virgin Train, Virgin Trains do not allow you to connect to YouTube. They do not. No, do you remember I was showing you? Because I was saying, they do not. It says, this is an unconnected service. We do not allow you to connect to YouTube. So the only thing I could get is some dodgy Ukrainian website for The Simpsons, which I love. So I watched some Simpsons episodes. But
talking about dodgy Ukrainian websites... And I will finish this anecdote, which was never an anecdote in the first place, but now I'm going to deviate.
But this is where you segue, it's okay.
Yeah, that's alright. People, if you've got the patience for this, stick with it. I got an email the other day, and you know in your spam folder, I don't know if you ever check your spam folder.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
But you get your usual stuff, your Viagras, your penis enlargements, your usual stuff. Now I'm getting rid of my phone because I'm more cautious of it. And I got an email from...
Have you got a larger penis? Or
have you got...
Is that the end of this? At the end of this anecdote is I got a larger penis.
No, it's not. And I got... It was from like someone saying, I'm a spammer, I'm a hacker, I've hacked your account.
Oh, I've got them.
And I have a defamatory... What is that word? I have like a naughty...
Defamatory?
Yeah, defamatory image or video of you pleasuring yourself. In the top left-hand corner.
Now, I can tell you, I have that image, but that wasn't me that sent that email. We know each other really well, so I've got that image.
I keep a...
Pete's got that image.
I keep a cover of my webcam.
I know, it doesn't mean anything, go on.
We've got a friend called Pete. Next, moving on.
Pete, see you later.
See you later. So, no, and it's covered, and I'm like, now. I was talking to people at work about this. I was like, if... And then he said, and if you transfer us some money, we will not post this to the internet.
Yeah, but surely you saw it and thought, of course it's bullshit.
Yeah, I did. No, I had a panic attack. I had a mini panic attack because because I do react to this stuff quite personally, and I'm like, what if that was real? And then I had all these scenarios playing in my head. I was like, I've got 3 options here. I could say it's not my face. B, I can kill myself or hand myself in. And I was like,
ding.
Surely the stuff I've looked on the internet isn't better or worse than anyone else. And then the third thing was I thought is, well, it's not the worst thing in the world, is it? If people see me masturbating, I wouldn't be that worried.
Please
about
don't, make that image on our podcast.
But did you send it?
Yeah, I know. But those are 3
it was because
strange
of
things.
It was because of the
specificity
of it, and I was thinking, this sounds kind of legit, but why would it be in my spam folder? And if you had that image already, you would have posted it, and it hasn't happened since. I'm assuming it's a load of old tosh. But
come on, Mars. Unless they address you as Mr. Mars Purnell, which is his name, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
If they say, "Hi, I've had an image. I've had an email that says, "Hi, I have." You have visited a legal website. This is we're gonna post this to. Not I've got
Love
a legal
Pete.
image of you. Love peace. That says Pete. If you don't know who Pete is, which you don't, listen to the podcast for the next few episodes, and we will gently and slowly introduce the character of Pete, who may or may not recognise, who may or may not resemble someone who Ricky satires in his.
We'll just leave breadcrumbs out.
Yeah, we'll just leave absolutely breadcrumbs.
But anyway,
no, I've had those emails, and of course they're rubbish. Mars, I have anxiety, but you have these panic attacks more than anyone.
But honestly, my heart was just racing. But to draw a line to this anecdote, which we will eventually get to the end of this.
Should we draw a line on the whole podcast and stop it?
What would you have done? Okay, in that situation, so they have to drop Ricky off at the station for Steve to then get the plane.
Who am I in this scenario?
Okay, I'll be Ricky, because I think I'm more likely to be Ricky, and you're Steve. Only because Ricky hates waiting.
Not at all.
No, only because
in that very narrow way. Yes.
Yeah, because he hates waiting for things.
Yeah, in that very narrow way.
I am late to almost every single thing I do.
Okay, if I was Steve,
but
I would have.
Wait. but I hate if I've got a train and I need to catch it at say 2:30. I will get there at 2:29 because I hate waiting.
I would get there at 2. I would get there at 1:40 because I don't mind waiting.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. So that's what was funny about the anecdote that Ricky says. Exactly, I gave up 30 minutes. Of my time
that is really funny because and then by the end of the episode, he's like, "Do you know I got there too early? I was like too early. It's so." And then he actually says, "Do you know what we should have done? We should have dropped you off first." Like it goes full circle.
Because like, Steve's got all this bad luck as well. But then they go.
Oh, Steve has bad luck.
He just has this terrible luck. But who's in the wrong there? Should Ricky have given him the money?
Absolutely. Should Ricky have given him money? No, Ricky should have at the time. If I was Steve and you were Ricky, well, there would have been no problem because I would have made us go to this airport first if I was going to the airport, which I never would.
100%
There's no way we would have gone to the train station first. Should Ricky have given...
Yeah, that's
Ricky... And in a serious note, it's not that serious, but Ricky, of course, should have given the money. Ricky, at that time, and Ricky had far more than Steve, advance from the office. So they would have had a lot of money, because it comes in April, I think, so, and they record it in March or September or February. So I think they had a lot of money. Ricky should have paid, half. But I
80 quid.
Do you know, I think 82.5 quid, actually. But, I think Ricky should have paid half. And if the equivalent happened and for some strange reason, I hadn't made you go to the airport first, you would have paid 82.5 quid for me. And I think you would have done though. Well, you would have done it. I was just going to say you'd have done it anyway. I'd have made you do it, but you'd have done it anyway because I think you're a decent person.
Gary doesn't want to do another half an hour, ladies and gentlemen.
We started again, for fuck's sake. Already.
You got to keep talking.
Go on. So anyway, let's come back to the actual episode of the show.
That's what the listener...
So, I asked you what were your favourite quotes, and you gave one. What are your other favourite quotes?
So I've made a list here. These are my favourite...
I know you had, that's why I asked you.
Thanks very much. Here's my quotes. They're coming up now. Here they go. I'll do them in order from 5 to 1. I've done 5.
And as you give it, I'll give my opinion on it.
Okay. Don't worry. So, at number 5... If there's a doctor, if there's a postman...
Yeah, if there's a doctor, if there's a postman...
So they're talking about Karl's hypothesis about snails eating stamped glue. And when they get panicked, they sweat glue. He doesn't say that in that episode. But he's got this hypothesis that snails like to eat stamped glue. And that's why you get loose envelopes in your post.
Yeah.
And then he asks if there's a doctor, if there's a postman, and this is all after the chat where they're talking about Karl's best job, and he will stand by this, is when he was a paperboy. And Ricky says, if we could pay you £1,000 a week, would you do it? And he went, yeah, in a very calm...
I would, to be honest. £1,000 a week, I would.
Yeah, but have you ever had a paper round?
Yeah, of course I've had a paper round.
I had a paper round once, and I agreed to it because all my friends were doing it. I was
Mars can't ride a bike, so...
well, let's not, because all the woke people out there who can't, they're going to go...
What's that woke about riding a bike or not?
They're going to go, what, you're having to go at people who can't ride bikes then, mate?
No one would do that.
Email in if there's a doctor, if there's a postman. All right.
But no, that is a very funny quote. Anyway, what's your fourth?
Let's say fourth. And a cat that did not look happy. And what I love about Karl, what he can do, and he's so, like, the way he communicates an idea, and he's not a comedian, let's bear that in mind, but the way he talks through an anecdote is so good. Like, he goes, it's about a wife that didn't exist, about an oven that there wasn't a fire, and a cat that did not look happy. Like, he does it all so fluidly, and, like, it's just like, how would you tell an anecdote?
The thing is that with Karl, with anecdotes, Karl always has a brilliant ending to it.
Yeah,
so
he's good at punchlines.
And I wouldn't necessarily call it a punchline, but kind of is. Like A Cat That Did Not Look Happy, Ricky collapsed. The thing about Karl in those early shows is, and now even to this day, Karl knows what Ricky will laugh at horrendously, because Steve doesn't laugh. But he knows that Ricky will laugh. He knows exactly how to make Ricky laugh.
But Karl's not trying to make Ricky laugh.
He is absolutely trying to make Ricky laugh.
Do you think?
Yeah,
I think at this stage
and
he's
not. Cat that did not look at. No, I would disagree with you. In series 1, I think that wasn't the case. In this show, that's why I think it sets the tone for the whole series 2 and series 3. He's trying to make Ricky. No, not necessarily. Not. I wouldn't necessarily say he's trying to make Ricky laugh. I would say he knows exactly what will make Ricky laugh, and he goes for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your third?
Okay, so we're coming up to
No one cares that much.
You didn't tell me you had another card.
Hang on. I'll just let the listeners into a little secret of the show, like a little planning meeting that we had. Now we're gonna call these shows something. Whatever, we're gonna post them as something. But like, I thought that there was a brilliant thing to just call the show, because it's such a random thing. You didn't tell me you had enough time. That just shows a lot about the relationship between Ricky and Steve.
Not just that, but
we should, and I still think we should call this show that.
We'll have a production meeting about it after.
We have a good production meeting with a lot of wine.
But I like, because this will feed into one of our sort of ongoing themes, which is Steve being cheap. Because there's this running gag that Steve is...
It's not a gag.
No, but there is this running sort of
it's a running
motif, I guess, if you will, of Steve being cheap.
I'll allow that.
I didn't ask for you to allow it, but thanks anyway, sir. Go on. Sir, I hate when people call that, sir. It's so patronising, isn't it, sir? It's also one of those things, sir, what they say, it's like those sort of quirky little pop punky people. They go, "Good point, sir."
No, I don't know.
They do that. It's because it's sort of like that quirky, in that sort of Fern Cottony way, where everything was random. When I went to school, everything was random. They describe something. Oh, you're so random.
I love Harry Hill. He says, "Oh yeah, I met a girl. She said she was random. What she actually means is annoying, or something like that." He does it better than that. But
that's what I mean. Like that was a thing. Yeah, but yeah, they say Steve saying is like, "I'm not saying I'm cheap," and Rick goes, No. It's like, I want to get value for money at all times. But I can totally understand that mentality, because I'm not cheap, but I like to get value for money.
But I'll just say,
I will gladly shop out of my way to search multiple vendors.
I literally go to the first one, so I don't have to walk any further.
I know, but you're insane for that. Why would you do that?
Get a grant from the SRC.
but if you don't get a grant from the SRC, then you can't do it.
But could I just...
I can't afford to take those risks.
Could I just say, that particular quote, which is, "You didn't tell me you had enough card," is not really about that there's lots about Steve being cheap, even in this show, but that particular quote is not about Steve being cheap. It's almost about... Ricky, what it is a Ricky positioning himself as the master of Steve, like the daddy of Steve, and you should have told me, as a joke,
if he needed to tell
as a joke, because I'm the actor in the office. I mainly wrote the office. I'm the main. I'm the main guy. You should have told me you got a card. That's why it's funny.
He's probably got a credit card and not as opposed to 2 debit cards.
Oh, probably, but it's just funny because of that. It's not because Steve's cheap. That particular thing isn't about Steve being cheap.
And if anyone's interested, Gary's actually very good at credit card advice. And I know this because I still haven't purchased one.
I've given Miles advice on credit cards, which credit cards have purchased multiple times, and he never takes.
They can tweet us though, can't they?
I bought.
you
I
created
bought
an
a
account,
site. I did. I can't remember how I bought a site. I'm so old.
I work in a tech agency. And
I can't remember that now, Miles.
Okay.
Oh, I think it was. What's the show called?
At Touch or Otherwise.
No, it's not Touch or Otherwise.
I think it was.
It's not. No,
we'll come back to that
Touch or Otherwise. This isn't Touch or Otherwise.
I know, too.
No. Oh. What was it? What's this show called? Just tell me what this show's called. Tell me what this show's called.
D-Trout Spinners.
D-Trout Spinners. D-Trout Spinners. At D-Trout Spinners.
Are you gonna? Is it gonna be any hyphens in that or any underscores?
No, I don't do hyphens. Don't do hyphens.
And
What's
number
your
2,
second?
because that's where the 3-piece suite was.
Oh yeah, that's
When
good.
they're talking about the baby, I just like the reason I put that in this. I just love the deadpanness and the way that Karl reaches his conclusions. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, because that's obvious.
Even though he's relating this ridiculous story that is load of old tribe, he's going, yeah, because that's where the 3-piece suite.
Yeah, because it's like Carl's telling the story. There's nothing logical about this story at all, and it's like, but where he says, why is it in there? Like, and he says, yeah, because that's where the 3-piece suite was. It's like he's relating. He's bringing logic. Like, that's logical that the 3-piece suite was there, but it doesn't make any sense as to why any of the other story took place there. But he's relating one little logical fact, and that's why I think genuinely in these shows he believes it. He believes it. He doesn't believe the monkey news of like a bank robber. He doesn't believe that, but he says it.
What do you mean the monkey backed out?
What do you mean the monkey backed out with a gun? Do you know what I love about this show? When we did radio, like. But
when we were top stars in the high-flying world of volunteer radio,
or when we're talking to friends, we dropped in some what is a friend? We dropped in a friend. We dropped in these references, but no one would have, apart from us, would have known whether. But in this podcast, we can drop in these references. Everyone knows. Hopefully, everyone knows.
There's
these
no
references.
ambiguity.
There's no ambiguity here. So.
And at number 1...
I'm looking forward to this, because I know this episode back to front, so go on.
At number 1, my top favourite quote for this episode, never saw that man or cover again.
Never saw that man. Well, that's a classic, isn't it? So that is a classic, yeah.
It is a classic. But what...
It's just, and again, Karl, he doesn't say that. He doesn't just say that. He pauses for about 1-2 seconds and then says it, and he knows that Ricky will explode with laughter.
And
he
Ricky's
knows.
got the best laugh, and he's like, that's the thing, like but Ricky's got so many different laughs, hasn't he? Like, I know a lot of people hate it and a lot of people love it, and I also hope, like, listeners, you're probably like us, like, you listen to these shows religiously, and you listen to them.
Well,
when you
I
go
would
to
just
bed
say
and
there
stuff.
will be some listeners, and that's fine. I agree with you. There
will be some listeners.
No, I don't agree with that. But there might be some listeners who've never listened to the shows as well. So we need to cater to them as well.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. What are your favourite moments of this show?
I think
I've hit the nail on the donkey.
The cat that didn't look happy. I think that was my favourite. Yeah.
Oh,
And actually, do you know my very favourite? And I'll say this is when Ricky says, Steve's not cheap. He paid 160 quid for the thing, and 165 quid. And
right.
You know, I'll have this live production meeting on air, and I'll have it with you now. No, I'll have it with you now. Because we talked about this episode maybe being called "You Didn't Tell Me You Had Another Card," but I think it should be called A in capital A, because it's the beginning of a sentence.
You put a space in that, wouldn't you?
165 in capitals quid. That's what I think it should be called, because I think that's such a beautiful, and it's so subtle. It's just such a subtle moment, and it's beautiful.
And on that note, I think that's a good time to wrap it up, actually.
Oh, thank God for that.
I know. You alright?
Oh, God, I hate...
How did you feel that one?
I hate these. I hate
Do
these
you?
more than anything. No, I don't.
I thought this mic
No, I don't.
all the way
I know. I can't... Like, Mars brings it in a polystyrene wrap, and I can't listen to it as he gets it out.
Gary, what can I ask you? What are you doing for the rest of today?
Probably I'm going to go and meet some friends.
Yeah.
You're going home.
Am I coming as well?
No, I think we're going to the
We're going to go to a little pub.
Brighton.
We're going to the Hot Poles in Brighton, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't going up for a few weeks, so we'd say meet you now, and we'd have been and gone.
Yeah, if anyone wants to meet us, get in touch, and I'll text you my address.
Text you their address.
Text my address.
I've been Miles Pennell.
Gary Forrestal.
Gary Forrestal, say it again.
Gary Forrestal.
And this has been the D-Chart Spinners podcast. Download and subscribe. Like and subscribe as well, do that.
Oh, whatever. Just get rid of it.